Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be doing another new foundation review. I picked up the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation during Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty. So I was able to get it for half off. We're going to dive into this today. I've been using it for maybe a week or so, and we're going to talk about what I think of it so far, and eventually I'm going to be putting this into my ranking video where I'm going to rank all of my high-end foundations and see how this performs against some of my other favorites. So we're going to get into that in just a minute. If you're new here, thank you so much for being here. My name is Laura. I love to talk about all things makeup and skincare on this channel. If that sounds interesting to you, I hope that you'll consider subscribing. With that, grab yourself a cup of coffee and let's go ahead and do our makeup. Okay, so I have the Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation in the shade 1N2 Vanilla. So as I mentioned, I got this on Ulta's website during the 21 Days of Beauty sale. So I got it for $26. It retails for $52, so not a cheap foundation. I used Ulta's shade finder and I put in as my base the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Concealer. I really like this. I've had this for months. And this is in the shade 1N1. So when I put this in as my concealer shade, this is what popped up. I don't know. It's a slightly darker shade. I guess they probably did that on purpose. I could probably use a darker shade in the concealer. I don't really like my concealer to be lighter than the rest of my face, the foundation, but at any rate, this works. These work together beautifully. So I'm going to read you a little bit about the foundation, just some of the high points, the things that I was looking for. So I'm counting 31 shades on Ulta's website. I don't know if there are more options, if there will be more, but I'm counting 31. This foundation is supposed to be very long lasting. It's supposed to improve texture, control oil immediately. It's supposed to be sweat proof, waterproof, as the name says. I believe it's supposed to be water. Oh, it doesn't. It said it on the website. It's supposed to be waterproof, sweat proof, non-comedogenic, so it doesn't break you out. If you've been watching me for any length of time, you know that is very important to me for my skin. So I have been wearing this for, I guess, a little over a week. So this is not a first impression. I don't typically like to do first impressions, especially from foundation. I kind of know what I think of this. I've put this to the test in multiple different scenarios, being outside, at work for a full day, just out running errands. So I pretty much know what I think of it. So we're going to go ahead and put this on. It does say that you should only use the amount that you need. So to start with one pump, and you shouldn't need much more than that. I have not been able to build this up to full coverage. This is truly a medium coverage foundation. You can build it up a little bit, but I've never gone past medium. So I think I'm going to use, let's see, which one do I want to use? I think we'll just, let's see. So first I'm going to start with this. Let's start with a pump. Beautiful glass bottle. You get 1 fluid ounce, which is typical for foundations. It's a beautiful pump. You don't get much. 1 pump is that much. So I did end up using a little bit more. We'll see here. Let's go ahead and start getting this on. It looks like it's going to be light. It's a pretty good shade match for me. And actually, it says it's neutral. To me, this has a slight yellow undertone. I don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to start this. The first thing I noticed, and it does say that it's weightless, is it is incredibly lightweight on the skin. You can't tell it's there. It is a nice natural finish. I would not say there's any dewiness. Any of that is probably coming from my sunscreen, the light. Look how quickly this blends out. This is the fastest blending foundation I've tried in a long time. A little bit more over on this side. So I would say if you're in a hurry, this is one you could probably throw on and if you're trying to get out the door. And it blends so quickly. I'm gonna come in here a little bit. So that's one layer. That's one layer. You can still see, you can still see my freckles. I don't mind that, but again, you're not gonna get this built up to full coverage. This truly is a medium coverage foundation with the ability to build it just slightly. As it recommends, doing much more than one pump is not going to build it up too much. I'm going to go in with just maybe like if you can get a half a pump out of this. The thing is, it's hard to push the pump and get only a half. It feels sort of gel-like initially. And almost like it's just so thin. It's so incredibly thin. Um, it almost feels greasy when you first put it on. That's the best way I can describe it. But once you get it on, it's fine. It's not, it doesn't feel oily. It's very lightweight and you can't tell it's there. But I would say if you tried too hard to build this up, you're going to end up feeling, I don't know, you might end up feeling it a little bit on your skin. So this does settle down to what I would call a natural finish. It's not matte, but it's also really not dewy. It doesn't stay dewy on the skin. So that was like another half a pump or so. I still have a little bit there. I'm not going to try to build it up more. It's not going to do any good. But you can see I was able to cover just a little bit more. We'll use the concealer to get the rest. So right off, I would just say it makes your skin just look a little bit healthier. It blends super fast. I don't think I have a foundation that blends as quickly as this one does into your skin, into nothing. It is skin-like, but of course you can still see it. It's foundation. It's gonna, you're gonna see it on your skin. But overall, this is a very natural looking foundation. So now I'm going to put on the Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Concealer, and we'll see how these blend together. And this, yes, this is definitely a lighter shade. So I tend to mostly just use this around my eyes. Today, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna put a little bit, I'm not gonna pull out another concealer. But normally, this is a concealer that I would just use up around my eyes. It's pretty lightweight, just like the foundation. Use my BK Beauty A506 brush and just and that is something I noticed when I bought this concealer, because like I said, I've had the concealer for months. It blends in very quickly as well. It's pretty lightweight. It has not risen to the top of my favorites. I've yet to find a concealer that is better than the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. I've pretty much stuck with that. I would do a ranking video, but I just really like the Natasha Denona concealer. I have not found anything I like any more than that to include this one. I can't say that this is my favorite concealer, but it is very close. It's very nice. It's lightweight, and these two blend together beautifully. They do have a similar finish. The concealer's a little bit heavier, but so it's starting to really, where I tried to build it up a little bit, the foundation is, I can feel it a little bit right here, but it's not much, not bad. and it just soaks in. It's so lightweight. It really doesn't feel like you're wearing anything unless you're touching your face. It covers just enough. I would say this is a high medium coverage. I don't think I've been using it long enough to speak to the claim that it improves the skin's texture. We'll see, but I tend to change my foundation from day to day depending on the weather, depending on what my skin is doing and how I feel. So I'm not sure about that claim. That's not something that's overly important to me. I'd rather just, I have my skincare and that's fine. So let's go ahead and put on some powder, and I am going to use Laura Mercier's powder. I have a sample of it. Here it is. We're just going to use this loose powder, and I'm going to use a puff. I also like to use a puff because it picks up some of the excess foundation on the top, so that it just isn't, you don't have excess product there that's going to start to crease or fall into fine lines or anything like that. So that's what we have. Again, it's just a really natural look. It's not going to give you the full coverage that the professional foundation from Benefit is. But this is a beautiful foundation. I really don't have any complaint. When I first used this, I knew I was going to like it. I knew I'd be keeping it. It was certainly worth getting on sale. Would I get this for $52? Maybe, but I would say if I didn't already have certain other foundations, I don't think this is climbing to number one, but it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. This is a very, very beautiful natural foundation. I'm going to find some alternatives to some of these higher end foundations that I've been using. For me, it's hard to find dupes. I mean, true dupe, it would look exactly the same. That is difficult to do. You've tried this? This is a long wearing, very lightweight foundation. It's one of my favorite from the drugstore recently anyway. This is the Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation. Sounds weird. It's a natural, lightweight foundation. So I'm gonna be trying to find some close alternatives to some of these newer foundations that have come out. I mean, you can see how much that covered, just getting that concealer on gave me just a little bit more coverage to balance everything out. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup, and I'm gonna maybe try to compare this to a couple other foundations that I've purchased recently. So I will be right back. All right, I am back. I have the rest of my face on. Not a whole lot going on today. I have, let's see, I used the Pretty Smart face palette. I love this. This is one of my favorites to just grab for every day. I love all three of these shades in here. Very inexpensive from Walmart. This is a great brand. I also used the Essence Nothing Compares to Nude palette. Also very inexpensive. You get 6 shades for a few dollars. You can find this at drugstores and Ulta. Love that. Elf lash extender. Tubing mascara, one of my favorites. I also use the Essence Volume Booster lash primer. This is really very good. I don't typically use a primer on my lashes. I mean, usually if I have a good mascara and a eyelash curler, I'm fine, but I really do like this. This is pretty good. I think that's pretty much it. I didn't put on a whole lot today. So this is what the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation looks like with the rest of my makeup on. I really like it. This is risen to the top as one of my favorites. Long lasting, very natural looking on the skin. If I were not doing a video on it, and if I had not found this at the Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty for 50% off, would I have purchased it? Having already purchased this one and fallen in love with it, no, I would not have. I don't think that you need both. The finish is a little different. They're not the same foundation. I mean, I'll just sneak peek. at my ranking, this one's going to be hard to beat. This is my current favorite. I have a lot of high-end foundations to go through though, and we'll see. This has not risen quite to the top, but it is up there. It's beautiful. I really, really like it. I think if you have oily skin, the fact that this controls oil, I think would probably make a big difference. I would say this doesn't break up easily on your skin through the day. It does stay put. It's just a really, really good option. So maybe consider giving it a try. I don't know. Let us know down below if you've used this foundation before, if you have different skin than I do. I have combination skin. I get some dryness. Here I also break out of adult acne. It just, when I hit 38, that's kind of what happened. So I fight with that constantly, but the foundations that don't break me out are my best option. So this is a great one. I do really love the concealer. I do think that is worth it. Again, still not my favorite, but you know, you have used this foundation. Let us know down below what you think. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I hope that you make it a great day. Bye.